Hey, it's Soul, and today I'm going to do something unusual. I'm going to talk about the Sylvanas book in a non-spoiler review. I'm here to, I guess, share the energy that I got from this read, which I totally slammed through, and then I played through the epilogue that released the other day in World of Warcraft Shadowlands. So maybe after listening to this, you'll pick it up at the store, or maybe you'll get the digital copy, which I happen to do. There happens to be an audiobook that's narrated by Patty Mattson, Sylvanas' voice actor, or maybe you'll do none of the above. But I'd love it if you were to like the video and subscribe to the channel because, that's free. So Sylvanas is overall a good read. I very, very much enjoyed it. As a fan who's read all of the Warcraft books and played through the story and the games and still remember maybe 70% of all of it, I managed to keep up with the events, the names, the references and such, although it's not a noob-friendly book. There's a number of books you may want to consider reading before this or to play through some of the previous WoW expansions. This book is two books, actually, split into two uneven halves, where the first half is very heavy into character building, as it gets into some of the deepest layers of Sylvanas the Ranger General, Sylvanas the Forest Rider, Sylvanas the friend and daughter and sister, and it creates this cornerstone, this beginning of a pattern of behavior that would eventually shape her personality both in life and in undeath. The first half is definitely my favorite half. I didn't really know what to expect when I first dove into this book. Am I going to get one bomb dropping after another? It turned out that the first half is more like a slow burn that got me to learn about numerous characters and their relationship with Sylvanas before the first war between the humans and the orcs. Even the relationship between Sylvanas and Thanos is explained very convincingly. Since this takes place before the events of Shadowlands or even the World of Warcraft, Christie Golden, the author, was allowed to simply be a writer, free to fill in small details about a woman and her family, and I guess what starts off as a bunch of first world problems. All this backstory set up a foundation that would later shape Sylvanas' decisions, and I feel like Golden pulled it off really well. Sylvanas is a story that falls under the unreliable narrator sort of trope. Sylvanas is trying to tell her story, though not from a first-person perspective, and she's telling this to someone, but at the same time, I couldn't help but feel like she's talking to us. Sylvanas is trying to explain her motivations to us, convince us that she's right, even though at every turn, she's told that she's wrong, because she is wrong, and you can feel the frustration by her as she confidently gives one bad take after another. By the time I finished this book, I could understand her and still not forgive her. I think that's important thanks to the discourse surrounding Sylvanas' actions over the past few expansions. Why did she burn Teldrassil? Why was she setting up to kill her own sisters and wage a pointless war, and so on and so forth? We learn why in this book. We understand the motivations, maybe empathize with them, but it's pretty plain and clear that this is not a book that tries to vindicate or redeem Sylvanas. It doesn't send a message that genocide is okay. It's a story about how someone could be led to think that it is. The first half of the book, like I said, it was a story. But about midway through, Golden has to play catch-up of sorts, and reference past events from the real-time strategy game, the novels, and the MMORPG. The novel starts to then feel more like a chronicle of past events that we're already familiar with. It's just peppered with the extra exposition to give these said events more volume. It comes off as Golden being less writer and more repair person, patching holes, connecting links, resolving questions that we as fans have been asking for years. The book feels as much of a story as it does an apology to fans for dangling details about Sylvanas that frankly could have been shared early on if one is to believe that her journey was intended to go down this path all along. The second half of this book didn't need to be written, if not for Sylvanas being way too secretive of her plans to both players and viewers. This book is the tape that wraps up what I felt was a mishandled story on the verge of falling apart, and it turns the story into something quite decent. Sylvanas the book doesn't redeem Sylvanas, but it saved the character. I'll try to not veer too off course here, but it highlights the difference in how the Warcraft story is told. For its flaws, I enjoy the story of Warcraft in writing more than I do in game. I feel like the game designers just don't put enough emphasis in telling a strong, coherent, and complete story in its gameplay. Instead, they just rely on big moments and as little else as they could get away with. A book like Sylvanas with a lot of effort, I can see how all of the elements of this book could have been put into the game through the use of flashback cutscenes or cinematics or gameplay from the character's point of view, to even little books and scrolls found in the libraries, or there are tools and features that are already available. Unfortunately, that seems to take more time and work and money than the team is willing to put in. A supplementary book like this is cheaper. I don't consider this a spoiler, but Sylvanas the book answers all the important questions, from the events of the Wrathgate, to what happened after she jumped off of Icecrown Citadel, to how much she was a part of the Jailer's plan, or even when she became a part of it, and why she waged this pointless and bloody war. Christie Golden even handled the Jailer's manipulation of Sylvanas in a way that makes the Jailer seem truly cunning. As baffling as this may sound, I feel like it worked. At the risk of repeating myself, by the book's end, I came to understand all of it. I can see why Sylvanas did what she did, and I can see why she deserved what she got in the end. Just this week in World of Warcraft, players got to see the epilogue of the Shadowlands story, while a follow-up was included in the book. And I'm not too fond of that. I would have liked to have seen the final scene in-game, and I would have liked to have read about the judgment of Sylvanas in the book. So to wrap things up, this is an enjoyable, well-written book made necessary, presumably by decision makers unwilling to put the work into expressing this in-game, and I hope to see that relationship improve. Short and sweet, that's my non-spoiler review. Please like the video and subscribe for more content. Of course, leave a comment, let us know what you think, tag your stuff if you happen to have spoilers on it, but otherwise, let's get out of here. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.